Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sunday Bunch with your host, Jacob Kirkbride, live here on SAFC Fan TV. Joining me on the show tonight is Michael Bowers, Dino Elgar, Jack Dodds, the man mistake, the man behind the curtain.
I preferred them shut down.
Bit of a horror show theme tonight from Terry with his glass of pop there on the windowsill, and also our fantastic editor who's soon to be a father in a couple of months' time. He broke the news on social media this weekend. Mr. CONRAD Lee, guys, we'd like to give CONRAD a massive round of applause with that fantastic news he's broke.
Well done with providing the sperm, Conrad. Well done.
Strong swing.
He finally hit the target. He finally hit the target.
Apologies.
Apologies for watching. I'll pop the show.
Of course. Guys, if you would like also to follow our social media handles at the top of the screen, at SAFC Fan TV on Twitter, Facebook at SAFC Fan TV 73, and also our website at safcfantv.com as well. Don't forget also to like, share and subscribe, and our live chat is also available tonight if you want to put forward any questions to us for tonight's live show as well. Before we get onto the first topic of tonight, which is previewing the lads' 2-2 draw at Crewe Alexander yesterday, we want you to be part of our Wembley special. We're putting together a fantastic video in preparation of our final against Tranmere Rovers at Wembley on Sunday, the 14th of March, in the EFL Trophy. Please, if you could send us in any photos of you in Sunderland attire, and also any videos as well from passionate moments you've had at games, particularly the 3 Wembley finals we've had over the last decade, with the Charlton one back in 2019, the Checkatrade one against Portsmouth the same year, and also the Manchester City League Cup final in 2014. Also, we're calling out any overseas fans as well. If you could send us in videos and also photos telling us your name and also where you're from. And if you could send that in, that would be very grateful in the build-up to the EFL Trophy Final 2021 against Tranmere Rovers. Terry, you're wanting in.
You want Sunderland photos with a tyre?
Wearing Sunderland attire.
Oh, right. I thought you said hat with a tyre. I was thinking, where am I going to find a tyre? I'm going to sit next to the car or something.
Attire.
Phil's old enough for that, mate.
My pronunciation. Comments are starting to come in on the live chat. Andrew Robbins is saying, congratulations, Conrad, mate. Feign SAFC, we'll try and send a vid. Oh,
Terry.
If you could turn that down, please, the man mistake.
No phones. No cellular devices.
Put your blower away, son. Conrad, sure Storm will show up at some point, meaning Conrad's cat. And also Acacia Cameron Jude has also popped up saying, hey, Lauren, how are you? Lauren Penny is also asking Conrad, where is Storm tonight as well? So, Conrad, where is Storm tonight? By any chance?
I don't know. Normally he waits for us to go live, so I'm sure he'll turn up at some point. He loves the limelight.
Of course he does. He's appeared on the show many times, hasn't he? So, the first talking point of this evening, yesterday's 2-2 draw against Crewe Alexander, which I would say overall was a pretty valuable point considering the poor display we put in the first 45 minutes, conceding 2 first-half goals from Chris Porter and Tom Lowry, both assists coming from former Sunderland striker Mikel Mandron, a player who I think scored in that 2-2 draw for Gillingham against us at the Stadium of Light the previous season, which some would argue denied us promotion, but if we were allowed to play out the rest of the games that season, who would know? But in the second half, from 2 men coming off the bench, a fantastic right foot shot into the top corner from Jordan Jones, and what a volley, a chest and volley from Chris Maguire, rescuing a valuable point to secure a 2-2 draw for Lee Johnson's men, who we're going to come to first reviewing the game. Jack, we'll come to you, mate. What did you think of the performance yesterday?
A point rescuing me, like short 3-word review. I didn't really think I ever looked at the game, to be honest with you, until Jones got his goal. I didn't actually really see us scoring at all. I mean, I said it when we were on the watch along, kind of as the second half was progressing. I said, I cannot really see us getting a goal here today. And then about 5 minutes later, Jordan Jones went and slapped it in the top corner. But yeah, I think, to be honest with you, something that I think is worth picking up on is that I don't think the Sunderland of a few months ago and the Sunderland that we've typically seen in League One would have actually got a point out of yesterday. 2-0 down. We haven't had many chances, not had many shots on target, not been in the game much. To actually get a point from it was to get a point from that is something quite unique. Well, something we haven't really seen much of. I think, especially since we've come down to League One, it's a typical Sunderland of not. As I say. I'm losing my words a little bit here, but I think we turned it around really well, and I think the other side we were seeing at half time, how we respond in this final 45 minutes. It's a statement, and I think we really made it a statement yesterday by actually coming back into the game. And yeah, it took 2 wonder goals, but we found a way. Again, Callum McFadden, no problems coming from left back. That needs to be commented on as well. I think he lost the ball 25 times away, 25 times yesterday. He just problems again. That's the only concern. But as I say, we found a way yesterday, and as much as the performance wasn't brilliant, we got a result. But all eyes go on to Tuesday, and I think, to be honest, what's important is that we go into our next game we don't put ourselves in that same situation of chasing the game again and relying on wonder goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a case of Lee Johnson getting his right tactical messages across to the players to make sure that a first 45-minute display doesn't happen to the lads again for the rest of this season, because if we're going to stand any chance of going up this season, we can't afford to be putting any displays like that. Terry, we'll come to you next. The man with, it looks like an echo tonight appearing from your microphone. I think it's Terry. Unfortunately, apologies if you're getting that for anyone viewing tonight. But would you agree with Jack there? First 45 minutes, a complete write-off, and then second half with the substitutions that came on, changed the game completely. But at the same time, Johnson is going to have a headache going into the Swindon game on Tuesday, because he's going to have to make some really serious decisions about what players deserve to be dropped from the side, considering the poor display that some of them put in. Was it Jack highlighted Callum McFadden there that they put in yesterday?
What was the question again, Jacob?
No, I'll just ask you quick.
Have we got time for you to ask it again?
Nice.
Anyway. One thing I don't agree with Jack was about us making a statement. The only statement I saw was that we were absolutely garbage. That first 45 minutes and up till Jordan Jones scored, it was atrocious football at the highest possible level. The passing was shocking. The commitment was terrible. Nobody, as if we just turned up thinking that we're going to roll over, take it up to Jaxie, and we'll get 3 points. It was abysmal. And I don't get why Grant Ledbetter was put to the bench. I got no idea at all why Grant Ledbetter was dropped from a winning side, and we started that goddamn awful player, Scowen. He's playing terrible at the moment. He shouldn't even be on the bench, to be fair. What, Jack? What do you want?
But I think in terms of a statement, what I'm saying is that we played so badly, because don't get me wrong, I saw how poor the performance was yesterday, but we actually got a point from it. That doesn't always happen. That's positive sign to a team that can actually have the potential to go and do something in the league where, like I say, the game wasn't going our way. We weren't really in it. We weren't playing really well, but we found a way to get a point out of the game. And yes, it was through 2 wonder goals, but do you not just think that actually that is a reflection of the confidence that Johnson puts in his players with his phrases are big and bold and things like that? We found a way. That's my point of being a statement. The performance wasn't acceptable. I completely agree, but we found a way and we've got a result, and that's what I'm saying about it being a statement.
Dino, before we come to you next, another glance at the live chat. Bradley Young, Scowen can't even pass a bloody ball. Mark Rodham, Terry, do you still keep red sauce in your boot? I'm not sure what he's on about there, to be honest. Andrew Robbins, Man Macamate, evening, mate, full of cold.
Read them before you say them.
Oh, God, some of them tonight, honestly.
Jacob,
stick to the football. Come on, Terry.
I wasn't even finished. What I wanted to say was, why on earth did Lee Johnson leave Grant Ledbetter on the bench? If he's carrying a shoulder injury, he shouldn't even be in the starting, or it shouldn't even be on the bench full stop. He should be rested till the shoulder injury is fixed. So there's no reason at all. It's not acceptable for me at all to leave your best player, one of your best players this season, on the bench. I don't get that resting players malarkey. This is what happens when there's no one on the pitch who gives a shit. Yesterday, nobody gave 100%. Nobody was bothered at all until the substitutes were made. And then Jones had a point to prove and Maguire had a point to prove. So for me, it was poor performance from Lee Johnson all the way down throughout the whole of the team. It was a collectiveness of a bad day at the office from everybody. Hopefully, they'll all learn from the mistakes and they will improve and put it right against Swindon on Tuesday.
I mean, with Grant Ledbetter, I think this is a debate that I think we'll go back to later on in the show. But where I stand with it is, I mean, I made this comment on social media. We shouldn't be relying on someone who's in their mid-30s, who's got a lot of experience to be such a key member of the side, especially this season when you're playing constantly Saturday, Tuesday. And I don't know whether he had a shoulder injury before the game even started. I mean, personally, the way how I saw it, he picked up the injury purely in the game. I mean, when it happened, he was signaling to the bench straight away, I need to come off, and it did look really serious. To be honest, it'll be very, very lucky if we see Ledbetter in the next few weeks. To be honest, I think it could be hit and miss whether he makes the final or not now, to be honest. But hopefully it's not as serious as its first fear, but we'll slowly start to see developments going into next week. Dino, on the game yesterday, 2-2 draw against Crewe Alexandra, would you say that an interesting debate that I heard was, if this was potentially a Jack Ross or a Phil Parkinson team, would we have come away with even a point yesterday, to be honest? And it was a well thought out draw in the end. The substitutions from Lee Johnson got us the draw, but it's about what the players do when they come off the bench. And certainly Jordan Jones and Chris Maguire made a big statement, didn't they?
Well, in the Jack Ross era, the first season, we came back from 1-0 coming from 1-0 down plenty times. So in the Jack Ross, when the Jack Ross, we've done that plenty times. We came from 1 goal down and 2 goal down to win games and draw games. But the first time this season, I think that's the first time this season we've actually done that. Come from behind to snatch a point late on. I mean, I know the performance was awful, but I'm going to give credit to Crewe. Crewe made we play like that. Let's not forget we've been playing well for the last 3 games. It's no coincidence that the team with the best home record, I think that's apparently right, isn't it? They've got the best home record this season or something. Made us
third
play
best.
Third best. Made us play the way we did. That people are like the Mad Mistake says, with Ledbetter out the team, it might have affected we. I don't believe that. I think one change doesn't make the full team play badly. I really don't. As much as Ledbetter has been a key player, maybe it was the fact that they've got pace in the centre, so we need to match their pace. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, it didn't work.
It didn't work, but if Ledbetter was in there, you don't know if it would have been any different. Hindsight.
He can pass the ball. Scowen can't pass the ball. Scowen just cannot pass the ball.
But Scowen does everything else, gets stuck in where Ledbetter can't do that.
He can't even run with the ball. He loses the ball amongst his feet.
I think you're being a bit harsh on Scowen. I know he doesn't do the best things all the time, but he is a workhorse, and that's what Ledbetter doesn't have. Ledbetter's not a workhorse with his age.
Scowen's a donkey.
But even though the team didn't play very well, and like you say, credit to Crewe for that. It took 2 wonderful goals by 2 players. I mean, Jordan Jones, I wanted him to start the game over Callum McFadzean, because people are getting a bit confused with what formation we played yesterday. I seen a 3-4-3 formation. I don't care what the graphics said at the start of the game. That was a 3-4-3 formation, because Lyndon Gooch was not playing in the centre midfield. It's as simple as that. I don't know what people were watching. It was a 3-4-3, and then when we made the changes, it went to a 4-3-3. I think it did anyway, the 4-3-3, but we definitely started with a 3-4-3. And with Chris Maguire, yeah, he scored a wonderful goal. We know he's got that in his locker, but he hasn't done it enough this season. And everyone's saying, "Oh, the king is back." He's not. He scored one goal. He scored one goal. He's been poor all season. That one goal doesn't define how he's played this season. Yeah, it was a cracking goal, but we haven't seen it enough. It's as simple as that. And we're fought back. We've got a point. I'll take the point from the position we were in. The last 15 minutes, we're 2-0 down, and we'll bring back 2-2. I'll take it every day of the week, because at the end of the day, I'd rather have 1 point than none.
Michael, will come to you next, but another glance at the live chat. Adam Edwards, we have quality throughout the squad. I think Johnson needs to make changes more often. You saw how hungry Jones was when he came on. He has to start. AJJ, so why do we want Defoe back? Nostalgia, 38 plus. Bradley Young, in a free. Yeah, I would. To be honest, I think he'll do a brilliant job for us if we were to bring him back. But for me, it's very unlikely. In a free, I would want to see Winchester, Dan Neil, and 09, because Flanagan is in full training again. And finally, Fane SFC. It wasn't the team news that was the problem for me. It was 4-3-3 with the team he put out, and why he changed the 3-4-3. I'll never know why change something that's not broken. Michael, with the formation we started with yesterday, were you surprised Lee Johnson went with that, or were you still convinced that the players we had in the positions in the formation he started with, surely it was enough to pick up 3 points at the end of the day?
On paper, yes, I think it should have been. But like Dino said, and I said it during the game, I think that the first 75 minutes we were atrocious, but fair play to Crew. That's one of the most aggressive displays I've seen from an opposition side since we've dropped into League One. I would go as far to say that. I think it's certainly the most aggressive, maybe with the exception of possibly Gillingham or Pompey, that I've seen an opposition team really get in our faces. We couldn't cope with them. I don't think that the formation change. I don't think it was actually a formation change. To me, it looked like there was 3 across the back. It looked like there was McLaughlin, Sanderson, and 09, the usual suspects. If that's the case, then Gooch to start the game anyway was down the right, down the left-hand side. Obviously, was unfortunately McFadzean. But I mean, whether it's a good before the game, I would have said nope, that's a poor result. And a small part of me still feels it is if you want to get in the top 2. But from the position we were in to come from 2-0 down, when whether Crew made us play like that or not, we were offering nothing. First 75 minutes, we had a couple of half chances, but we didn't really test them anywhere near enough. To score 2 early, now that could be a season-defining point. It depends on how we build on it and react to it. It could be a good point. If we win these next 2 games against Swindon and Rochdale, which if you're wanting to get in the top 2, I'm sorry, you've got to win both of those games. If you win both of them, then that Crew point would think, actually, that was all right. If we drop points in either of the next 2 games or both of them, then there's no point in that fight back. So we'll have to wait and see how the lads respond to it and react to it. I will touch on McFadzean because I want to get my rant out of the way. First of all, the throw-in he did at 0-0, don't understand what was going through his head. Sanderson didn't cover himself in glory there either. But McFadzean, like I think Dino said it in the commentary, if you're taking a throw-in in that position, don't make it so that there's danger. You're inviting Crew to press you and to make life more difficult for you than they already were, and they were already pushing us high up the pitch. Throw it out of danger. The second, I just can't get over how bad he is. I know it sounds like I go in on him a lot. It seems like I switched from McLaughlin to McFadzean at this point, but for me, I think Vaughan should head and shoulders play above McFadzean. At least with him, there's an opportunity that he could end up getting better. I've said it many times before, but it's true. Yeah, I think Vaughan's could have something in his locker, but yeah. Well, like I say, it could be a good point. It depends on how we do in the games coming up for me.
Yeah, Dino, before we come to you, just to let people know, we've got 153 people watching us tonight, but if we could please get to 100 likes, that would be very much appreciated. Please hit that thumbs up button down below. Dino, you're wanting in there, mate.
Yeah, I think we need to lay off McFadzean a little bit, because we need to realise he's a League 2 player right? Listen to us out, Jack. I seen your face twist there, but listen, right? He's a League Two player. He was brought in for cover, and it's not his fault that he has to play because Vokins has been terrible and Denver Hume's injured. So give the lad a bit of a break. Yeah, he's not the best player. He's not the best player by far, but he's the only player we've got to play in that position. He was only brought in for cover. It's as simple as that, and he's been forced to play in the first team because the left back we've got is not good enough in Vogans at the minute, and Denver Hume is injured. So give him a bit of a break. I know he's not the best, but at the end of the day, it's not his fault. He's a bad player.
It's a weird one with McFadzean because there's a Plymouth friend of mine that I know. Who watches Plymouth week in, week out. He was saying that he's never been a left back, and when we signed him, he didn't think we were going to sign him purely to be a left back. He's always played more or less on the left wing or being a wing back throughout his career. I think this is the first time he's properly had to play left back for a club during a season, which is a bit of a strange one. We might need clarity on that. But yeah, Jack, did you want to make a point there about Callum McFadzean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Dino, and that maybe it's not quite his fault that he isn't at the level that he's required to be. But all we do is point out where the key problem is in the team. I mean, yesterday, that throw-in that Michael touched on, that was absolutely awful. If you look at the goal that they got, I think it was their second goal. I initially commented on 09's positioning, but if you look at McFadzean, it took him an absolute age to get over to Mandron, and Mandron just had all the time in the world to get the crossover, and that was because McFadzean didn't get closer and closer enough. And now you're saying maybe he isn't quite up to the standard, but all we're doing is pointing it out and saying he isn't good enough, and we shouldn't be persistent with him. I know Vokins hasn't impressed since he's came in, but surely he's got worth in the shot, or at the very least someone else is. There's got to be someone in the squad or someone in the under-23s. Surely they can't do any worse than him.
Yeah, Dino.
No, go to Terry. Terry's been waving his hand.
Sorry, Terry, rather.
I just want to say that as soon as Flanagan gets back, the better, because we need a proper centre-back back there, because we can't be playing Luke 09 forever and a day at left centre-back when, to be honest, we need him in midfield now that Ledbetter is injured.
With personally, I would say McFadzean, though, with Denver Hume, potentially, I don't know when he's going to be back fit, and obviously Vokins hasn't really hit the ground running since we signed him. It's a strange one, but purely, I would say, based on experience, McFadzean would basically still come into that starting 11 purely because of the experience he's got and the inexperience that Vokins has. But then again, is it time for Vokins to step up to the plate and show why he's a lot better than McFadzean coming into the starting lineup? Jack, you're waving your finger.
Yeah, I think Vokins has only actually had 3 starts. And my point was that Vokins, to me, looked better against Burton Albion. He didn't have the greatest game, but he showed signs of improvement. And he had a better game than McFadzean did against Fleetwood and that McFadzean did yesterday. Why not give him another shot? I think he's only started 3 games. Why not just give him another shot, or at the very least someone else? Maybe Goot just got something to offer there, or maybe we'll go to 3-4-3, or whatever we were playing yesterday. We go to 3-4-3 if we weren't there yesterday. Maybe stick Jones at wing back. Just do something. Someone's got to offer something more than McFadzean, because he doesn't offer us anything going forward or defensively. Go on, Terry.
I was very disappointed after the Burton game. I thought that Vokins would play the next match, because, you don't change your winning side. So why on earth was he dropped in the first place? He's a young lad coming through. Yes, he'll find his feet after a couple of games. And I thought Burton, he did have a canny game against Burton. So I don't understand at all why he was dropped to the bench when you beat Burton comfortably 3-0 and Burton were in a good run of form.
Well, for once, me and Terry agree on something.
This is not often we get that. I think personally also with Vokins, he has to play a consistent run of games until we can see the best of him. But I think only time will tell on that front. Finally, Conrad, the father-to-be, before we come to you on the performance at Crewe yesterday, another glance at the live chat. Farley and Ode, bet you never thought you'd be hoping for Flappy Flanagan to return, Terry. Daniel Gunn bouncing up all over another comment I should go to. Chris Scott, no excuses, he's garbage. I think he was referring to Callum McFadzean there. And Fane SFC, McFadzean can play as a left CB in a back 3. Conrad, yesterday's 2-2 draw at Crewe Alexander. A point well gained in the end, would you say?
Yeah, just like what Jack said, I thought it was like a point rescued more than anything. We didn't play that well, but we didn't lose in the end. That's the main thing there. On the McFadzean thing, I think it's something that Jack said the other week as well, that it's a case of we can't play Vokins in the final because he's cup tied. So we given McFadzean a run in just to get used to the team and just be like, look, you're going to be playing till this game because we can't play anyone else in that game, especially with most of our team dropping like flies at the moment anyway with injuries. So I think after that game, yeah, it's probably going to be we'll get someone else back in, maybe Vokins or even 09 can play at left back like he did earlier on for a bit. But I think it's just you persist with him for a couple more games, and then after the final, we can then decide on who's the best. But seeing as he's the only one who's going to play in the final with all our other injuries, you may as well go, all right, we'll keep going with you for now.
Absolutely. Terry, you're wanting in.
I don't understand that. Like, we're only playing against Tranmere League Two sides. Surely doesn't matter which league. Doesn't matter which League Two side you play against, right? They're in League Two for a reason. Surely Vokins and McFadzean can walk into a side and play at left back against the League Two side. Surely.
Well, just on what you're saying there. Yes, they're in League Two for reason, but they're in the final for a reason. They beat Oxford in the last round, and Oxford were in great form going into that game.
So we're going to sacrifice points in the league to win?
No, mate, I wouldn't even play McFadzean. To me, I would look to other options. I know Vokins is unavailable. I would look to other options. Is the potential for Gooch to play there? Do we revert to a 3-4-3 with the intention of playing Jones there? Do you maybe try and shuffle things around at the back even more and put someone like 09 or Sanderson there? We've got plenty of injuries at the back, but to me, you kind of just play McFadzean at left back because it's like a ghost.
Exactly. We've got to start Vokins because, like I said, we're still only 6 points behind second place. We're still only 6 points behind second place. So for me, we have got a chance. It's not over to the fat lady sings, and we need to get promoted this season desperately.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think we've got to show some appreciation, I should say, for the two unbelievable goals that we scored in that game yesterday. Jordan Jones showing his electrifying pace on the left-hand side, cutting in on his right foot, and what a goal, top bins into the top right-hand corner. Fantastic strike. But I think the big debate is which goal was better, to be honest. I mean, the second one, the equalising goal that Chris Maguire scored, a great flick on from Charlie Wyke, and what a chest of volley for him to hit that, and just with so much precision, and for it to just fly into the roof of the net. What an unbelievable strike that was, and definitely goal of the season contenders for not only the goals we've scored this season, but also from what we've seen in League One. This is absolutely fantastic. And you're right, sorry.
Just about.
You know what? On that, we'll come to if you were listening properly, I guess, with those fantastic headphones you got on. Which goal did you like better yesterday?
Yesterday, to be honest, I couldn't give a shit. I was that disappointed. I was that upset with the way we played the whole match.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was nice. It was nice to see two good goals in, but it was like after the Lord Mayor's show, it was like, yeah, we're getting a point. Yeah, two great goals. They should have been winning goals if the team put a performance in, but they were both good goals. I quite like Maguire slightly more than Jones, but that's just my personal preference.
Dino, what about you? Normally, you would come out with the sort of comment that Terry's come out with there, to be honest, Mr. Doominator. But which goal did you prefer yesterday?
I'm going to say Jordan Jones, because we all know Chris Maguire's got that in his locker. So you're kind of half expecting to turn up a screamer now and again. Whereas Jordan Jones, we don't really know much about him. And he got the ball on the touchline, done a little shimmy, cut inside, and pinged it. Is he left footed or right footed? Does anyone know? Because I don't even know what foot he hit it with. Did he hit it with his left foot? Did he hit it with his left foot?
It was right, John Jones.
Did he hit I thought he hit it with his right foot. I think it was his right foot.
Yeah, I say I'm not sure. So if that's his weak foot, I mean, it was just amazing. Like, when he came on, he just looked so good, and then just top it off with that goal.
Find out.
I mean, he done something McGeady couldn't do all game. I thought McGeady had a really bad game, and this is up against a right back who is apparently come from the academy, and McGeady couldn't do anything against him. And then John Jones comes on and starts ripping him to bits, going past him every single time, and then pulls out a top corner goal like that. I'm going to say Jordan Jones, because he impressed me when he came on, and he should be starting. It's as simple as that.
Michael, would you agree? When you decide to pay attention to what
on the John Jones. I'm trying to get the highlights up so I can see whether John Jones actually hit the goal with his right foot.
They're both right
trying to
foot.
do research. Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Fine then. Well, the highlights one. I'm going to play them anyway. Anyway, which one? Yes, I agree. John Jones should be starting. I think, especially against opponents like Swindon and Rochdale, I think he should particularly do well. As for which goal was better, I personally thought Maguire's was better. Not because it was the equaliser, but because Jones had more time to place the shot this is what I can remember, than what Maguire did. Maguire's was basically a header from Wyke that was still bouncing up off the ground as he hit it. And the dip on Maguire's shot was brilliant. Don't get me wrong, Jones's goal was brilliant, but I think Maguire's was just like real top draw and is contender for goal of the season. As is Jones, to be fair, it depends which one you prefer, but for me personally, it was Maguire's. Well, I will touch on something that was brought up earlier. I think that Jones should start. Now, I know a few people have said that Chris Maguire should have to start. For me, I still think Maguire needs to do a bit more to prove that he's worthy of a start. Yes, he scored a great goal, and I think he's earned to come off the bench for a significant amount of time on Tuesday. I don't know whether I would start him, though. But I agree. I think McGeady had a quiet game. So I think the good thing is if the wingers and all the wide players step up to the plate, give each other competition, hopefully that will erase complacency and will hopefully maintain high enough standards as much as possible.
Jack, before we come to you on this goal debate, on the live chat, Chris Bowman, Jones to start Tuesday, McGeady can't play every game at 34, Maguire in for O'Brien for me. Adam French, subs that came on did change the game and we did get lucky. Point is a point, but we should win against teams like Crewe and Fane SAFC because Jones has something we've lacked for ages. Bags of pace, needs to start all the time now. Teams don't know what to do with him because in this league he is an unknown. So Jack, what would you say was the better out of the two spectacular strikes we scored in that game the other day?
I mean, both brilliant, but for me, Maguire's just edges it because it was a volley. I mean, the decibel levels have never quite been as loud in this room when that goal went in on our stream. I would say Maguire's because it was hit on the volley for me, but both great goals.
And finally, over to you, Conrad.
Thanks to me.
It definitely has to be Maguire's for me. I mean, it shouldn't matter too much. The main thing that matters is we didn't lose, like we said before on there. But I think just for the sheer technique that he did in it, it has to be Maguire, and that's more of what we know from Maguire from the previous 2 years that we've had him, and hopefully now he can keep that going for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, he's such a massive game changer to have in the squad. I mean, we touched this on, was it the match review we did yesterday, me, Jack and Dino. I wouldn't say necessarily he's proved enough in the games he started in this season, but to have him in and around the squad till the end of this season at least, I mean, I'm not quite sure on his contract situation. I think potentially it could be up at the end of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's such an impact player, and I think he can produce moments like that if you give him the ball like late on in games because he's got that in his locker. But like Dino said, he doesn't do it enough for me, and I'm not sure really what Terry's doing. Oh dear, honestly, he's craving the attention tonight, isn't he? But before we go on to the next bit, bit of an echo there, and he was hiding behind the curtain, sure what he was doing there. But before we go on to the next bit of the show, previewing our home game against Swindon Town on Tuesday night. Bowers, I saw this tweet from you. You weren't too happy with the comments made by Crewe's manager after the game yesterday, and I thought it was a bit of a weird one in his interview, wasn't it? I mean, would you like to explain just a little bit more on what he said and why it was so questionable? Is he all right? Will we get there?
I would say that with regards to the comments, I know I do kind of get why Sunderland fans didn't like them because of the whole I took two screamers to get a point at little old Crewe, as he said. But if anything, that's disrespectful to Crewe. I do get the point he was making. I think it was that he worded it poorly, but the point he was getting at was that Crewe have progressed. Remember, they've come up from League Two last year. They've come up to the point where they've played Sunderland off the park for 75 minutes, and it needed Sunderland two screamers to get two world-class goals to get a point out of that game. So for me, personally, I wasn't as bothered, but I don't know if I'm going to be the only one who feels that way. He's certainly not as bad as what Joey Barton is, but I can see how some Sunderland fans weren't appreciative of that because it feels like it undermines whenever you do anything. It's like, oh, you're Sunderland, you should be doing that. You know, so as bad as we were yesterday, we do deserve at least some credit for getting a point in that manner.
Dino, you're wanting in?
Yeah, I don't know why people are bothered about what a manager says of another club. Like the Joey Barton thing, there's history there because Joey Barton played for Newcastle. There's history between us and Joey Barton. This other manager, there's no history there. He's just trying to make a name for himself. I don't care. I don't know why people are bothered about what the crew manager says. He's irrelevant to us. Do you know what I mean? I don't get why anyone would be upset. Let him say what he says. Let him have his moment. You know, if this is his biggest moment in his career that he drew against Sunderland, let him have his moment. I don't know why people care so much. It was different with Joey Barton because, like you say, he played for Newcastle. There's history there, and then he becomes Fleetwood manager, and he has digs that way, even though there's no reason to. That's why there's a hatred for Joey Barton. But crew manager, who cares what he says? Let him jog on.
Well said, Dino. Putting that debate to bed, to be honest. Yeah, so if you're not sure what we're on about, go and watch Thursday night show. Absolutely fantastic regarding to the bed joke there.
What?
If you made your bet tonight or not?
Well, someone made it. I didn't make it. Someone made it.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
Hulk
Hogan was in there.
To be positive about Sunderland FC.
Yeah. I hope he's doing well, by the way, Dino. Sending the regards.
He's watching. He'll probably be watching now. He'll be watching.
Really?
He always watches.
Good man. Back onto Tuesday night's game against Swindon Town, Richie Wellens, Swindon Town. Last result for them was a 2-1 win against Northampton Town on Saturday. They sit 18th in the table, scored 38 goals this season, but they've got the joint second worst defensive record in League One with 57 goals conceded. Key players to watch out for, former Portsmouth striker and now playing for Swindon, Brett Pittman, and also Dominic Thompson, who was once a youth prospect at Arsenal as well. Conrad, we'll come to you first. How are you seeing us going into that game against Swindon Town? And the big debate is what sort of changes will Lee Johnson want to make, which will be different to what he put out on Saturday against Crewe?
I don't know. Just hopefully a team that wakes up from the first minute this time instead of waiting for a low knee to smash one in and us wake up thinking, we can get back into this now. But it was the same thing against Walsall a couple of years back when it took a McGeady goal a few minutes from the end to spring us into life to nick an equaliser in that one too. I don't know. I probably would start Jones, maybe rest McGeady just for the sake of it. I'll do it that way around where you go Jones on for 60, McGeady for the last bit on there. You're probably likely to see Scowen or Winchester, I think, come in if Ledbetter's out for a couple of months now, I'd say. I think Lee Johnson put out that he was out for a bit. So those are change. I wouldn't bring Maguire in just because, I'm sorry, one wonder strike isn't enough to force someone else out of the team. You need to be consistently playing well, and like I said, one wonder goal doesn't mean that you're playing well. Just means you had a good moment.
Guys, just a bit of a correction there. It was actually John Sheridan's Swindon Town, as Richie Wellens previously got the sack, I believe. So apologies for that mistake there.
He won't be the only one, Jacob.
No worries, I do apologise. Jack, before we come to you, on Tuesday night's game on the live chat, Paolo Abbott, I think we'll see a reaction from the Crewe game. Fane SAFC. John Sheridan was at Wigan, started the season but once. Wellens got sacked. Sheridan left Wigan to become the new manager of Swindon. Thanks for that correction, Fane. Daniel Gundino is right. However, he's overly aggressive sometimes. Brilliant. DJ Sizzler Watson, finally, I'd like to see a goal like Super Kev scored against Swindon. That's a wonder strike. I think it might be a goal he scored against Swindon in one of the championship seasons from either 1998 or 1999. I think he's referring to one of those two seasons. But Jack, Swindon on Tuesday. This is a question I'm going to ask you now. What changes would you make to the starting lineup compared to the one that Johnson put out against Crewe on Saturday?
Well, I do think we should change things, definitely. But I also think that I think it'd be an easy game, to be honest with you. I was just trying to find the words. I think it shouldn't be as much of a test as Crewe. I don't really know what changes to make, to be quite honest with you. I think we weren't strong enough in the midfield, and I think that comes down to Scowen. But we've talked about it all night tonight. Left back, whatever it is, whatever change you make, if you change the formation, if you change personnel, take McFadzean out of the team for someone. But again, with the midfield, I think we need to be stronger in the midfield. Change that somewhere. I'm not sure what formation we were playing yesterday. And the club said 4-3-3, and a lot of people were saying 4-3-3, but me and Dino were saying we couldn't really figure it out. If we didn't play 4-3-3, just go back to it. But to me, a change the left backs, it gives someone else a try. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be opposed to even giving someone like Gooch a chance there, because I think he's got to be a better option than McFadzean there. But again, midfield, I think we've got to be stronger in the midfield, more numbers there, a bit more tenacity there, because Scowen just wasn't good enough yesterday again.
Dino, before we come to you, 69 likes we're currently on at the moment, 150 watching. If we could please get that up to 100, that would be very much appreciated. Hit that thumbs up button below. So Dino, if you were Lee Johnson, what would you change to the starting 11 on Tuesday night?
Well, I'd bring Winchester in, obviously, because Leadbitter is going to be injured now. So I'd probably bring Winchester in alongside Power, give them a go. Take Scowen out, and if we're playing a 3-4-3, give Jones a shot at left wing back. I mean, he gets up and down the pitch anyway. He's quick. He offers loads going forward. You never know what he's going to offer defensively. Most wingers drop back anyway, so give him a go at left wing back. Take McFadzean out the firing line, because he's getting criticised a lot, and yeah, rightly so. But you need to protect the bloke as well, because he isn't good enough at this level. It's as simple as that. So take him out the firing line. Maybe take O'Brien out. I didn't think O'Brien had such a good game yesterday. I think Diamond, when he came on, he looked okay, added a bit of pace. So maybe switch that up if we're playing a 3-4-3. Yeah, see, this is a good time to change the team, for the simple fact we didn't win, so you can't change. You can change a side who drew, but like you say, you're not supposed to change a side who wins. So we've drew, so now it's a good chance to change the side to figure out what went wrong against Crewe. But this game against Swindon, I mean, what was it you said, the worst, they've conceded the most in the league?
Second joint worst defensive record this season.
We should smash them. It's as simple as that. There's no excuses.
Terry, you wanted in?
We have no right to smash anybody, but Swindon are in a good run of form at this moment in time. The big Crewe 2-1, the drew with Lincoln 2-2, and the won yesterday. So if it's the change of manager that's done it, they're in a decent run of form. So we need to up the ante big time. I have no confidence that he will drop Scowen. He'll probably keep Scowen in the team, and he'll probably keep McGeady in the team. So, but for me, I would start Jones, I would start Winchester, and Vokins.
Vokins comes back in with Lee Johnson for Lee Johnson's side. Lee Hall on the live chat, Winchester and Power in the middle. Andrew Robbins, Neil as well to start. That's a funny thing. Was Dan Neil even on the bench yesterday?
Don't think so.
Nah.
It's enough to ring. I forgot about Dan, because I wouldn't mind seeing him come in.
Yeah, bit strange. He was left out of the squad yesterday.
To be fair, right, with him not being in the team, does that not just show that the managers mustn't rate him? I mean, we had the same problem with Barley Mumba the last season, where you've got a player there who everyone rates, but yet the managers don't. So are the managers seeing something we're not seeing?
Potentially. I mean, I'll come to Terry on this one, because Terry rates Dan Neil a lot. Would you say that he still has some part to play for the rest of this season if he's given the opportunity?
Of course, definitely. As we're getting lots of injuries now, you might see him come into the substitutions bench on Tuesday because of Leadbitter being injured. It depends for me. I mean, I don't know, because I don't keep up to date with under 23 squad and what the games are. But if the under 23 game comes too close to a main game and he plays under 23 game, you're not going to put him on the bench. You're not going to play him in the first team. So I think it depends what priorities Lee Johnson has with him, whether he wants him to keep him in under 23s and play him there, or bring him onto the bench now, which I think he'd have to come onto the bench now, definitely now that Leadbitter's injured.
And Michael, before we come to you regarding what team selection we should go for Tuesday night on the live chat, Palo Abbott switch McLaughlin to left back. He actually played the second half of the Crew game yesterday at left back, considering McFadzean came off after his poor first half display. SAFC.
No.
Not for you, Dino.
I wouldn't play Conor McLaughlin left back. I see when Conor McLaughlin went left back yesterday, he looked so shaky. He can't use his left foot, and I thought he was every time he received the ball, he looked like he was going to give the ball away. He got stuck under his feet because he doesn't know how to use his left foot. I wouldn't risk it.
I agree with you on that. I think it's now surely time for Vokins to prove people wrong. If he's thrown at the starting lineup, and
games like how many chances has McFadzean had? Why can't Vokins have the same running? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, he's a young, talented player as well. I mean, you're not going to get the best out of him unless he's had a consistent run of games in the side. I mean, he's on loan till the end of the season. We've got to use the talents that he has to great effect at left back. Considering, I don't know when. Do you think Denver Hume will play at all for the rest of this season?
I think Johnson said in a press conference that he's out till the end of the season.
That's such a shame. I mean, just imagine Denver Hume in that side under Lee Johnson on the left with McGeady on the same side. I mean, he's one player I'm really excited to see how he does working with Lee Johnson. I think he's still. I mean, I don't know about his contract though. Is he out of contract as well, Denver Hume, at the end of the season?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another
yes.
thing.
His contract is he's one of the many players that are out of contract at the end of the season. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Was it Kirill Louis Dreyfus at the moment? He's going to be working hard behind the scenes right now to offer key players new deals. The man mistake. Were you waving your hand there, wanting in?
Yeah, I just think at the moment we need to stick with the 3-4-3 because we need to have the three makeshift centre backs. Protecting the goal because we can't just leave two by themselves until Flanagan gets back. Then when Flanagan gets back, like I said before, I can have Flanagan, you could have Flanagan and Sanderson as the centre backs and move Luke O'Nien back into the midfield where we're being overrun.
Is Flanagan back soon, Terry?
Well, apparently someone says he's in training, so it shouldn't be too long to be fair.
Hopefully he'll be playing in the final then, because that'll just make so much better at left back instead of, like we said, McFadzean and McLaughlin having to decide. Because is it just me out of all of them? The only one I'd trust to play left back out of everyone is probably O'Nien at this point. If we can't play Hume.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Sanderson's valuable in the middle, really.
Sanderson's been really good since he's come in, though, as well. Like, I didn't think anything much of him, but then he just seems to have come in and he's just controlling as much as he can, controlling from like one centre half can come in.
I kind of find yesterday for the two goals, I think both centre backs, I think Luke O'Nien and Sanderson were both at fault, along with McFadzean. I think all three of them defended poorly for the two goals. But I'm not going to go overboard and blame them because Luke O'Nien isn't a defender. And Sanderson, like I say, is not in his natural position. So I'm not going to be heavily criticising them two for the goals because they just ran through the midfield. Where was our midfield?
I said this yesterday, though. Didn't you think that McLaughlin, Sanderson and O'Nien played better as a back three than they did when they played as a four with McFadzean there as well? In the last couple of games, we played three at the back, and I didn't really think we had any defensive troubles at all. And then we put McFadzean in there and have an extra man, and it looks like we're getting overrun from every angle.
I think that's why I go back route. But another thing I thought was quite odd yesterday was putting O'Nien. If it was thought the back, was putting O'Nien at centre back and then Conor McLaughlin at right back. Why not have the player who's more experienced at centre back, more central than O'Nien? Yeah,
he's played right centre back in a three. So,
lads, we played a 3-4-3. It's even on live. If you go on live,
I couldn't work it out, mate.
If you go on live,
started with that, but
we played 3-4-3. We changed the formation. When the subs came on, I am positive.
Oh yes. When the subs came on, you're exactly right. We moved to a 3, but the reason we were getting overrun at the beginning.
No. At the start, we played 3-4-3, and then when we made the subs, we went to 4-3-3.
See, I disagree. Dino, I thought we played 4-3-3 at the start.
Look, there's the formation.
That's only one.
But that's just somebody who has an app. That's just an app. You have experienced commentators and Frankie Fraser and Danny and Ask Danny, and they put up the 4-3-3. Surely they know more than some idiot with an app.
Well, not really. I remember the time when was 3 players were supposed to be playing, but yet when the team came out, they weren't.
That's not Danny. That's not Danny and Frankie Fraser, is it?
The chat will need to help us out here. We definitely started. Started 4 at the back. We did, didn't
definitely
we?
4,
when the
3,
subs
3.
came on, we definitely moved to 3 at the back after that. You're wrong, Dino, though.
Bradley Young thinks we started with a 4-3-3 at the start, but
have that, Dino. Have that. Bradley Young, you know where it's at, son.
I've seen Sanderson, McLaughlin, and Luke O'Nien. And even on the commentary, I was always saying Sanderson was always passing it to Conor McLaughlin, then McLaughlin would always pass it to Gooch. Gooch wasn't playing centre mid, I'm telling you.
I tell you why you always thought it was a 3, because McFadzean was never where he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Fact.
I found an app yesterday that said Scowen played well, so I mean that's rubbish.
What app was that, Terry?
I think it might have been a Newcastle app, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah, with Josh Scowen, it definitely wasn't his most effective display yesterday. And personally, I think, but that's the worrying thing with Ledbetter's injury. Could potentially, we may have to rely on Scowen starting in the centre of midfield again on Tuesday night. I mean, only Lee Johnson will know the answer to that, to be honest. Bowers, before we come to you about...
Can I just have a quick shout at Summit?
No.
Right, we're about the formation. On the Sunderland official website, where I get the teams up, it had 3-4-3 on the Sunderland official website.
It says 4-3-3 on the club's official stream. So that's just what cancelling each other out.
So basically, no one knows what formation.
No one knows. Your guess is as good as mine.
Guys, help us out in the live chat. Honestly, who do you believe? I do feel sorry. Michael's waited a long time to get his word in on team selection.
He's still on last week's stream, isn't he?
No, his internet's in. Let's take the heat off him.
Okay, still 2-1 down on this, man.
About 10 seconds behind everybody else. Right, I'll tell you what. On the formation, at the start of the game, I saw 3 at the back. I saw Luke O'Nien, I saw Dion Sanderson, and I saw Conor McLaughlin. I didn't see McFadzean be that defender, and I didn't see Lynch that much. Has been a back 3. I can't see how it would have been a 4-3-3. Your question, I believe, Jacob, whenever it was you asked it, was about what team changes I would have for Tuesday. So in short, get McFadzean out, get Vogans in at left wing back, keep Gooch where he is, and Power and Winchester, I would say, and have Jones replace O'Brien, because Jones has got the quality against a side like Swindon at home, who have been, I've got 7 points out the last 9 available, but nevertheless, if you want to get in the top 2, this is a game you've got to target to win. And Jordan Jones, I think, would be better suited for a game like this, especially against a side who's conceded, I looked it up, 57 goals they've conceded this season. So if we don't get at these, I'll be very, very annoyed.
I mean, I'm glad you touched on, was it Carl Winchester there, Michael? Because, to be honest, like he's a player that I thought, when we brought in January, he was someone to add more flair into the middle of the park. And I made this comment on Twitter yesterday. Should we now be seeing a lot more of him, particularly being played from the start, considering obviously we may not have any choice now, considering how serious Ledbetter's injury is, but do we feel that the only way, like Vokins, we're going to get the best out of Winchester if he's played consistently? I mean, we were saying about McFadzean, he's a player that's come from League 2 to League 1, but I think the one thing that separates Winchester and McFadzean has got a good amount of talent when he's on the ball, and I think he can link up the play very well. He's good in possession, but I think he's one of those where we do need to give him the ball a lot more for him to put his talent to great effect. What do you think about McFadzean, guys? I mean, should we be seeing him a lot more now that I think he's fully settled in and he's starting to gel with his teammates a lot more, considering after when he struggled to really make an impact at first. I think his fitness levels were questionable, but I think now, is it time we start to see more of him? Jack, will come to you.
Do you mean Vokins?
You say McFadzean, Jacob?
No, Carl Winchester. I was just comparing the fact that they've come from League Two into League One.
Oh, Winchester.
Yeah, I think Winchester deserves a few games. I mean, yeah, he didn't impress massively when he first came in. I think a lot of fans will agree with that. But he hasn't had a lot of minutes since that Ipswich game. I think the only appearance, correct me if I'm wrong, will be the time he came on against Burton. But I think there was a lot made of saying that he's coming in to replace Ledbetter. With Ledbetter out for what will at the very least be a little while. I don't know when he'll be back, but it's not going to be soon, is it? It might be that Winchester is able to come in for him. And like you say, Jacob, he's had a few weeks to get himself settled here. He's been training with the lads for a little while. He's going to get to know Johnson a bit more. He might come into the team and be that perfect replacement. I would definitely play him above Scowen, because I think Scowen's had his chance, and he's week in, week out, he proves he's not quite up to it. So I'd definitely give Winchester, at the very least, a small run in the team, a couple of games, and see how he gets on.
Dino?
Well, see, Winchester apparently was playing below his level in League Two. He was just waiting for a club like Sunderland or a League One club to come in for him, and we made the move. But apparently he's always been a League One level player. He's just been playing below his level. McFadzean, he came from League Two, but he couldn't even get his game for Plymouth, could he? So that should show you what kind of player he is. It's not his fault. He's not as good as we hoped. I mean, for me, he's doing his best, but obviously his best isn't what we need right now, because he's not up to the quality. Maybe he's a lower end League One player, like who scrapes like relegation, not someone who's trying to get into the playoffs and they're looking for top two.
Terry, you were waving your hand there?
Yeah, that just shows the ambition of Donald and Parkinson to bring McFadzean in, who couldn't get a game at Plymouth. At the end of the day, that old regime's gone now. So hopefully the new regime will bring in some better players.
Marcelo.
Only with it depends on how much money Kirill Louis Dufay has in his back pocket to spend in the summer. But
he's got more than Donald.
Yeah. Well, that's there's enough proof in the pudding in that department.
Can we draw a line?
Yeah, considering he's gone now, the deal's been signed and it's done. Fane SAFC, if Winchester is as good as what Johnson says, he would be playing more. He would have had more than one cap for Northern Ireland. Aaron Wood, how far is Hume off from coming back from injury? We mentioned this earlier on in the show. Jack, you said, is it he could play potentially again this season, but it's still a couple of more weeks, yeah.
Hume, no, I heard on. I mean, I could be wrong, but off the top of my head, when I read it on SAFC.com, he's out for a long time. I wouldn't expect him to be back before the end of the season. I mean, I could be wrong. I'll go and fact check that.
And Paolo Abbott, Winchester reminds me of Paul Furwell. Could never figure out whether he was any good or not either.
He's only had a few games, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a bit.
He's a shot at it. I think you need to. He predicted 2-2. They probably predicted about 4-0.
Well, no, it's because did you see earlier on? Someone put where was it?
Someone was saying Philly's dubious record.
While Philly's away, he's definitely lost his dubious 100% record on predicting all these scores correctly. So I think someone's finally cottoned on. He's not right every week.
Philly just goes like, what will be a realistic score prediction? Right, how can we slightly up that with the buzz?
He didn't like that. He didn't. We were about to come on to the score prediction, and he's having none of it. He's having none of it.
Did he?
He didn't say 2-2.
Oh, he's gone.
We're going to go on score predictions. Right now. Quick one, guys, if you can make it quick. Conrad, score prediction against Swindon Town, mate.
I'm just going to do a Philly and just name it after the game. 2-0.
2-0 Sunderland. Jack?
I'll leave it to me preview show, which is going up with an opposition fan.
Tune in for that, guys. I'm going to say 2-1 Sunderland. I think they'll make it difficult for ourselves, but I think we'll just have enough quality to get over the line. Michael, when his internet decides to come back to life again.
I'd say, just quickly, I will point out, I know we're looking towards the top two, but Accrington and Ipswich are 7th and 8th. Accrington and Ipswich are 7th and 8th. We're 4 points above them. They play each other on Tuesday, so it's a good opportunity to put a gap between us and 7th, hopefully. Prediction, Sunderland 2, Swindon 0. I'm being hopeful that we will respond from yesterday's shower of a performance.
And we Philly says 3-0 to the lads on the live chat. Terry, what's your score prediction?
Well, we Phillies just watched my match preview previously to him making that comment, and he's copied me. I said 3-0 to Sunderland. So Philly, don't watch me previews and copy me bloody score predictions. Watch me preview, but don't copy me score prediction.
And finally, over to you, Dino, Mr. Dominator.
I won't be happy unless we score 2 goals against them. I won't be happy because a team who's conceded that many goals, we should at least get two goals. So if we win 1-0, I probably still won't be happy. But I want 2. I want 2 goals.
Go ahead, Dino.
Yes, Terry. Yes, Terry.
Oh, your hat looks like you're wearing a Newcastle hat.
Still won't be happy with a 1-0 win.
You know what? No.
What's the badge?
No, this is what's it called, man? The
Rockstar.
Converse.
And you've seen the form, is that what you bought from,
Converse. You're thinking of the brown ale. You're thinking of brown ale. What used to?
Is it Nuki Brown
ale?
Zoom in. Get your head close to the camera. We need to check that it actually says Converse.
Converse.
It's a Newcastle hat.
We'll just about let him get away with it, I would say.
Behave, those two.
Yeah, guys, I think that pretty much rounds off the show tonight. Quick update, we're on 85 likes at the moment. If you could please hit the thumbs up button below to get us to 100, would very much appreciate that. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's. What's that?
Did I say we've got about 20 dislikes?
22 now.
Wow.
God, it must have been. You must hate us. 20 dislikes. Wow.
Cheers for bringing that up.
Dino, Adam French in the live chat, and Dino wouldn't be happy.
It's true. Yeah, I don't know. You were happy the other day. That was the weird thing. You were happy the other day, and people in the chat started freaking out. Like, what's happened with Dino?
Yeah, the line's
been held up.
I was expecting Hulk Hogan to come in the room. I'm not happy because Hulk Hogan didn't make an appearance today.
Hulk Hogan came on the chat before to defend you.
Yeah. Terry, you wanted him. Make it quick, mate.
Yeah, I just want to give me condolences. I've heard some bad news that Glenn Roder's just passed away, so I want to give me condolences to his family because they're on this sad time.
Yeah, rest in peace. Was it former Newcastle United manager, Glenn Roder? Rest in peace, mate. Honestly. Thank you guys for joining us on tonight's live show. Like I said before, we're on 85 likes. If we can get up to 100, we very much appreciate
now.
that.
So there's 3 more. 97.
We've had a refresh up to 97. 3 away from 100. Brilliant.
On,
get it up 3 more. You know you want to. Absolutely.
Calm
down. Oh, Conrad, honestly. Where would this show be without you? I'm so glad you're back, honestly.
We've done it. That's 100. There you go.
We're on to 100. Thank you, Will. Thank you for joining us on tonight's live show, guys. If you could please like, share, and subscribe to SAFC Fan TV. Don't forget, as I mentioned at the start of the show, we're putting together a very special pre-final video for SAFC Fan TV, the final being against Tranmere Rovers on Sunday, March the 14th. Send in your photos and videos, wishing the lads all the best of luck. If your photos and videos could be from any of the 3 Wembley finals or Wembley finals we've had over the last couple of years in general, we'd very much appreciate that. And also calling out all overseas fans as well. If you could tell us your name and where you're from, and how much you're going to be cheering on the lads for that big game for the final of the EFL Trophy against Tranmere on Sunday, March the 14th. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Oh, no.
And Terry is out the building.
Terry,
do you reckon his internet's gone? Look at the panic. But he's not frozen.
That is a fantastic little screenshot. If Jacob's froze on your screen, screen me to me.
Look on his face.
Everyone, look at Jacob's face, man. It's beautiful. Look at that.
Look like he's seen Philly in a certain way.
Oh God.